What do you think? You're smarter than the FBI? Let the professionals do it. I'm like, yeah, we're going to. So therefore, I'm not a professional. Therefore, I don't have to abide by this. I would like to fact check it before I put anything out. Hell no. I'm doing this stream because I think it's fun. I like it. I enjoy thinking. I like bouncing theories off of stuff. You're right. Let's let the professionals do all the fact checking. I'm going to dive into anything and everything that I want to and have an opinion on everything and anything that I want to and theorize.
And here we go.
Welcome to the Freak Show, the best in town.
I have an interesting stream lined up for everybody, and I'm not really sure the direction that it's going to go. I think that people are going to take it one of two ways. It's not anything that's terribly controversial. I mean, for God's sakes, we're already talking about the most controversial case in America, in the world, right? Like I've said in the past, this system is built on exhaustion. So many facets of society, they move slow at a turtle's pace, and they rely on this exhaustion. They rely on you forgetting about it. They rely on life getting in the way of it. You get so many things running through your head every day: work, kids, bills, food, groceries, whatever it is. And then you forget about these things that the system has slowed down. Last night's stream with the custody queens, shout out again to Kristen and Sam. They were absolutely unbelievable. And their position and how wrongful convictions, and pretty much outside of the right to a speedy trial, everything else is extremely slow in the court proceedings. For the love of God, just press the damn like button. It's a simple thing to do. It costs you nothing. And I hate asking for it, so don't make me do it more than once, but I just want to make sure that everybody does have a second here to swipe down on the chat and press it. The like doesn't cost anything. It only helps the hive. It only helps what everybody in here is tuning in for, which is to spread the word. It'll help us get more awesome guests, you know, and it will get it to more eyes. We all want that. Cat's Mojo was on fire in the Discord. I want to talk about this comment here that was left on, it looks like it might have been a comment on under one of Pavarotti's video, but Cat's Mojo clipped it and sent it to me. And it says this: Captain D-Man says, "Hey, Bob, I've taken my part in many OCDETF task forces as local LE and federal LE. You are tracking correctly how confidential informants are worked. The quote unnamed CI will typically benefit from charges being dropped. However, this will put the CI in harm's way. Rarely do they receive LE protection unless it is part of making a larger case. The dirty little secret is the ugly side of narco cases. If the number of CI deaths was ever made public, it would shock the conscience of the courts, the people, and ultimately result in the confidential informant program being curtailed or shut down altogether. CIs are often seen as expendable due to their limited ability to testify in court, but ironically, CI are used to secure warrants with impunity. Magistrates seldom, if ever, vet the veracity of the CI. This case seems to be knee-deep in multiple agency failures. Bottom line, quote, every institution will seek to protect itself." Captain D-Man gets the top dog. That's a hell of a comment. Now, here's another thing that Cat's Mojo had said. She found what one of the Moscow officers had told the Daily Mail, which was, quote, "We have investigators who have been on the job for 20, even 30 years, and they say they have never seen anything like this. Blood was everywhere." It's always like this anonymous source. A Moscow officer told Daily Mail that we have investigators who have been on the job for 20, even 30 years, and they say they have never seen anything like this. Blood was everywhere. Who are the investigators that are saying that? Who's the guy that told Daily Mail that? It sounds petty to go back and say that, but you have to understand, why cite that anonymously? The point I'm making is like, there's this ghost, there's this phantom witness to every big story to push a narrative. It's anonymous. We don't get to question who it is. We just take that at face value. And the news, they know that by saying Moscow officer told Daily Mail, that's credible. And the other part that's really weird, 20, even 30 years, they've never seen anything like this. Blood was everywhere. It's hard to believe. Okay, it's hard to believe. It's not rude. It's just hard to believe. If blood was everywhere, you're not calling somebody, bringing up an unconscious person, and not talking about any of the other roommates on the 911 call. You're not calling 8 hours later. There are so many quotes that have been used that are phantom quotes like this for all stories. How many times has this quote been repeated? This is like a cornerstone quote to the Idaho 4. They've never seen anything like this. Blood was everywhere. I understand releasing stuff anonymously, but I feel like something like this, if it's like a public source and you're not whistleblowing, you should quote it, or you should cite it. So this is posted by the university. It's the favorite things on campus.
it's a smaller town and you can drive 10 minutes in any direction and you're kind of in the countryside. And I like that aspect because I've never experienced that before. And you can get into mountains, you can get into rivers and go fishing. And it provides best of both worlds.
There's just the right amount of things to distract you from school, but then just the right amount of things to keep you focused on school. If it's the farmer's market on Saturday mornings or just going over to the ice rink.
My favorite thing about the city of Moscow is in the evening, there are lights twinkling in the streets. And there's also a business called the Grub Truck, which sells mac and cheese. And so at night, I'll walk with my friends through the city of Moscow.
I have a really strong sense of security here, and I actually feel safer here in Moscow than I do at home.
I love so.
What did that man just say?
I have a really strong sense of security here, and I actually feel safer here in Moscow than I do at home. I have a really strong sense of security here, and I actually feel safer here in Moscow than I do at home. Really strong sense of security here, and I actually feel safer here in Moscow than I do at home.
I love so many things about Moscow. It has the best community. I go to one of my favorite coffee shops, which is One World. And when I'm there, you feel like a part of the Moscow community. But then when you're on campus, whether you're at a football game.
Yeah, French, top dog. This is a hard sell. I agree. Hard sell for sure. They have lights and mac and cheese.
Game or a basketball game, you feel like a student. So you kind of get both sides of the community.
That video was posted 3 years ago. Yeah, they got free scholarships. Of course, like, you know, none of like the tiny females in that video, none of them are saying like, I just, you know, the campus is really well lit to the point where I can go to one of my late night food spots, the Grub Truck that has delicious mac and cheese. No, it's like the guy who's 6'4" and probably clearly capable of defending himself. He's the one that feels safer. Someone says he must live in Compton. Christ. Hold on. Oh, wait. January 3rd, 2022. My bad. I was thinking this is right after. My fault. Yeah, no, 2022. My bad. Yeah, you guys just saw what exactly just happened in my head. I saw that, and I was like, there's no way this was in January right after. That's my bad. That was going into that year.
I was at an apartment party.
All right, here's what I'm going to say about this whole dot thing. Okay, guys? I get it. People got strong opinions, fake, real, whatever it is. I haven't even given it that much time outside of, or since I've been at least over on YouTube. From TikTok, we looked into it. People had said, don't, no, dot, turn it off, blah, 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 blah. And I did turn it off. I listened to it on my own off stream. Didn't ever listen to it. So while others may have looked into it, I've not. The Hive hasn't, or maybe there's some in here that haven't. And like I said, you know, real, fake, whatever it is, I think we can at least listen to it. We've looked at a lot of shit that we don't know, right? Why is this any different? So that's my take on it.
That night, very close by, you know, and there's things that I heard and observed, and I went to the police and tried to tell them that, me and several other people, and they weren't very interested, you know. And I'm just trying to tell my part because it's really traumatizing to experience what I experienced with what happened, you know, and everything that I know. It's very hard to feel that every day.
Sure. Absolutely. What if I can ask? Yeah, right. If I can ask, what agencies did you go to?
I just went to local law enforcement. Like, I didn't push anything really, because once I went to them, they kind of made it seem like they kind of knew, they had figured out what they were doing. Yeah, they made it.
They had their narrative.
Yeah, they were they were not listening at all, but they were kind of reluctant to like really be interested in it. So I felt like, okay, well, I feel like an idiot. I'm coming with this, and like what I have to say is not important. So I never pursued it after that, and neither did anybody that I knew, you know, that my friends were at the party. We never like tried to pursue it, but it's like I hear and see all these things, and it's really hard. What I have told a few people, like literally 2 people, I've told this story before a couple weeks ago, and it was that when I woke up in the morning, I woke up around maybe about 8:15, the latest maybe 8:30, and I smoke cigarettes, so I went outside to the balcony to smoke a cigarette because we don't smoke in the apartment. And I seen 5 people outside in the backyard area of the house.
Can you describe? Okay, I've heard that part of that story.
Yes.
Can you and I know you're not going to say if you know who they are or any of that, but can you describe what male, female, black, white, Asian, any of that kind of thing?
Yeah, so there was 3 males and 2 females. One of the males was like very pale and had light colored hair. There was a
So, okay, I've seen this come through a couple of times now. Sorted Out Sleuthing has said, and Sorted Out Sleuthing is not the only comment I've seen about this. How weird is it that probably before she came out and said this is all fake, people were already saying that it was fake. And now, isn't it funny how people don't want to believe her, but then they'll believe her that it's fake? I hope that makes sense. It's like, who's to say that she didn't, out of fear, come out and say that it was fake? Who's to say that? I don't know. That's all I'm saying. Is it's like, can you have both? Right? It's kind of one of those things. Like, okay, she admitted it herself. Yeah, she's fake. Brian Koberger just confessed that he did 4 murders. Everybody, listen to what she says here.
what it was for the most part is that people in the house had overdosed and died.
So
now, let's just back up before anybody jumps down my throat. Okay. Bethany might not have even been there, whatever it was, right? People have thought that the 911 call, it does come in for an unconscious person. Hunter Johnson says, I checked for a pulse. Well, if somebody was OD'd, that would make a lot more sense than checking for a pulse based on those autopsy reports and what they said their wounds were. How is there not blood on Hunter? How is there not anything on his hands? Right? So think about this. It was rumored people had OD'd. The 911 call comes in for an unconscious person, and Hunter says that they checked for a pulse. Maybe the oddity of Hunter holding a knife, walking in, and Mark, thank you so much for the super chat. Liars don't give this kind of vivid detail. And good, by the way. I agree. That's my opinion. We can have a different opinion. Let me just finish this working thought that I have. So 911 call comes in for an unconscious person. Dot's not the only person that says that it's been rumored people have OD'd. Hunter says that they checked for a pulse. Based on the autopsy reports, that makes little to no sense. Same thing with nobody else being mentioned in the 911 call. Hunter doesn't have blood on his hands. Hunter's holding a knife. The reactions at the house, they seem off to the overwhelming majority of people. The cops don't come in and clear the house until after the fact. They stroll right in there. Hunter still has a knife and is behind them. To a quadruple homicide, that's a stabbing. Don't gaslight yourself when it comes to, the cops would absolutely tell that guy, if they pulled up to a homicide scene and there's somebody standing with a knife and there's 4 people stabbed, guarantee cops are guns drawn, drop the weapon. Drop the weapon right now. Okay? Here's where I'm going with that. We all talk about a cover-up. We all talk about the 8-hour delay. We all talk about like the oddities of it, where they're standing around, what sounds fake. Who's to say that entire body cam footage with no ambulance, no EMT going inside? They're asking about chest compressions. Oh my God, there's blood everywhere. You hear none of that. Now, people say the cops just let out this, oh, fuck. What if you see a bunch of young people dead in a room that did dirty drugs? I don't care how experienced you are. When you see that quote saying that they've never seen 20, 30 years, investigators have never seen something that bloody, and then the photos come out, you don't look like that. Amito black poured everywhere and shit, not making sense. I don't know. Somebody came in, somebody shot the party up, whatever it is. Right? Who knows? You can't discredit from what we've heard about the ODing aspect of it. I don't know how everything fits together, but I'm more convinced now that the Linda Lane audio, the 911 call, the rumors of the party being shot up, the gun rack guy, the OD, the whatever, they're obviously going to all culminate together to tell the truth, but I bet that it's something that's a combination of multiple theories that we've said, almost like progressing events. Did something go terribly wrong? And it doesn't necessarily have to be. So Christina 702 says they didn't do drugs like that though. Okay. You know, like who's to say that something, it doesn't take much if somebody else was using it and they put their hand on it. I mean, if there's dirty drugs in the house, or if that's a party house, I mean, there's toddlers who crawl around on Airbnbs and they get, you know, fentanyl in them. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm just trying to say, what if it's like a culmination of events? Like we hear the fight, then somebody comes back, they shoot up the party, or I don't know. What if the fight was over some bad drugs, then somebody comes back, shoots up? What if there's got to be almost like the two timelines have to be two events that we have to start to determine what are the two events that happened, not just two timelines. Okay, fine. We can say there's two timelines. Well, what are those two events for the timelines? Did it go OD, fight, shooting, stabbing? Right? I don't know. But I think it has to have an aspect of something that would hype people up enough to want to go and carry this out. I just don't know what that order is. And then the reason for the delay with a cover-up might be explained for CIs, might be explained for Idaho is trying to buy the University of Phoenix. There's hundreds of millions of dollars on the line, so the campus tries to get the feds involved to do some sort of cover-up. But sometimes I think we're taking this all at too much face value when we should be spinning it. We should be spinning it. They've spun it against us. Yes, Big Amish Media. Use the reasonable person standard to review the actions. Reasonable student would do what? Reasonable LE would do what? Reasonable coroner would do what? It shows how unreliable and negligent the actions are to get a conviction. But also, it shows just how not normal they are for human instincts. Sherlock says, what did all these people do to these four bodies in that small house for 8 hours? I'm going to keep playing this, and I'm going to let my brain keep working. You guys keep sending the comments. I'll keep feeding them on the screen.
Ever. Like, it was like a normal morning.
What were the Snapchats saying if you read them when you woke up after?
People were saying that, like, some people saying that there was ODs going on, or, like, the house overdosed, and, that was pretty much what it was for the most part, is that people in the house had overdosed and died.
So let me ask you a question real quick. If you were to guess, okay, based on what you saw the next morning, what you heard being there, what do you think happened that night? That morning, I should say.
Well, at like 3 a.m., a little bit after 3 a.m., this was before I went to bed. We were supposed to, in the apartment that I was at the party, we were supposed to go on the balcony to smoke. We were not supposed to, like, smoke weed or even cigarettes inside, but some people didn't listen to the people that resided at the apartment, so they would smoke inside anyway. So they would crack like 2 of the windows, like on the right hand side of the apartment, and right. When they did crack the windows to get the breeze and to get the smoke out, like there was a lot of stuff that went on it. Like around a little bit after 3, there were a couple of things that I heard that were really disturbing, but I was drunk and I just said, like, in my head, I was like, you know what? It's probably something really stupid and I'm just overanalyzing it, you know? Like, in my head, I didn't think, like, oh, there is something of emergency. When I look back at it now, like, it literally tears me up inside, because I'm like, could I have done more? Could I have, like, did I just bypass something, you know? But it was like it was a scream. There was one scream. It was it literally, like, it sounded like.
Okay, you know what? I've seen so many comments that say, Dot is fake, Dot is this. Let's get Dot's ass in the hive, okay? who knows Dot? I'm putting out a request right now. I will have her on at the moment's notice, drop of a hat. Okay. And I would like to talk to Dot myself if she would be willing. No pressure, no gotchas, a conversation. And then I will make my determination. But I'm listening to this right now, and I understand people are saying, everyone knows she's fake, blah, 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 blah. All right, let's just ask her. Let's ask her in here. You know what I mean? That's fine. Let's do it. I would really love to do that. And if Dot hears this, everybody knows I'm not a gotcha type interviewer. Okay, I don't like when that's done to me. I wouldn't do that to them. And I think that let's just do it.
So like somebody was being mauled by a bear. Like it was like
When you heard
When
that?
did you hear that? When did you hear that?
this was a little bit after 3 a.m. But there's a lot of times that streams go on at parties like really for weird reasons, and so in my head I want to just tell myself, okay, well, this is a little weird, but even if I thought it was, something maybe to think about, I'm at a party with a bunch of people and we were smoking weed and we were drinking and there were people that were doing illegal drugs, and you know what I mean? Like if I would have called the police, I would have gotten everybody at the party in trouble too. I had like so many things weighing in my head. Like if I had done that, and even if I did, I have to.
Yeah, Dago, let's do that. We were talking about something that we could do together. Let's do this. If you're down, I will move anything around to make that work. That'd be awesome. So, Vid, you're bringing up really good points, right? The next day, there's Snapchats, cop cars, police. No one stepped out to see what was going on. Well, when they're walking around, people answer their door. They all, like, not just in Gunnarson's body cam footage, but all of the body cams that when cops are going around, they're kind of canvassing and they're interviewing people. Has anybody noticed that when the cops knock on the door, everybody that's at the house is at the door with them? So, like, to me, they're watching through their windows. Obviously, they were either told to not come outside, or maybe, you know what I mean? Or maybe they're like waiting for the news. Yeah, as Amy just said it. And Fat Bastard says, Bertie, thanks for letting all of us deep divers go crazy. Yeah, that'll never stop because unfortunately I can't help it myself, Fat Bastard. I feel bad calling you that, but even in Gunnarson's, they're all at the door. They answer immediately like that. They're right there. The knock happens, boom, door opens. So I do wonder, like to Vid's point, yeah, no one's out there looking around. That's odd. But then it's also like, it's odd that everybody in the house is there ready for that knock.
Like, well, maybe that's true. She was drunk and she had smoked weed. And I think she did a little bit of Molly, so she was definitely under the influence. She said that like that morning that she still had the residuals, but when they had talked to her and they kind of were giving her this like kind of thing of like, we know that you've seen this person, or there's this, and like she kind of honestly just like under pressure went
along with her story.
Not necessarily was like, oh yeah, that's 100% true, but like even when she would say no, I didn't see, they'd say like, oh, but did you see a figure? And she said, well, I did see a figure, and they'd say
so
like,
they gave her a scripted statement and she went along with it.
Okay.
Yeah,
they just kept antagonizing her. Yeah.
Hold on. So you're saying, so Dylan told you this?
She said specifically like that they antagonized her, that they had like repeatedly over and over again like pushed something, and she kind of like in her head she said, I almost wanted to believe that maybe what they were saying is true, so she
well, I mean, I'm not saying that it's not, because we've all kind of had a hold on one second, everybody. Hold on. I'm not saying what you're saying isn't true, okay? Because we've all kind of felt that way in one way or another. What I'm asking you is, you're saying that DM is stating that what she gave in the statement to the PCA isn't 100?
No, it's not. No.
That's what
it was.
I'm saying that 100%. That's not like the whole.
Well, that's kind of interesting, isn't it?
The whole thing about seeing somebody with bushy eyebrows and all black. She said that's never anything that she ever volunteered.
Well,
I have been in contact with Ann Taylor, her team of people, And I gave her my friend gave her the Instagram, the 22 minutes of that night, and I've been in contact with her, and everything that I've expressed right now, I've expressed to Anne. We haven't really divulged on like getting deeper and deeper into it, but I've expressed these things to her, and she wants me to.
Okay, I believe that I've heard enough to give a little bit of a synopsis on this. Here's my question. People are saying she's lying, all this stuff. Okay, people are saying she's inserted herself in the cases in the past. Is there anything that she's saying right now that is hurting the case or anything differently than what almost everything that we've probably dove into here? If you're going to insert yourself into the case, or if you're going to troll, or if you're doing it for like attention seeking, this seems very like based. It doesn't seem like sensationalized. Like Grammy T said, if she was yelling or if she was lying, why wouldn't she be like sensationalizing it? You know what I'm saying? So it's like people are saying, oh, Dot's fake. Okay, well, Dot's talking on behalf of somebody. Oh, I think Dot's real. Whatever it is. My thing is this is like, I understand there's people that have motivation to like troll or seek attention, but also she's interjecting herself into this case. I don't know if she's doing harm or if she's doing good to get to the truth. That's what I mean is like, so people are like, she's lying. Well, has she said or done anything that we haven't also thought was weird? Dude, Dot, from what I remember, it was like back on TikTok with Brat. Okay, right? Brat Norton. And it was this big drama, wasn't it? And then I was like, oh yeah, I went down this rabbit hole, whatever. Like, dude, we need to go look back at Brat's texts with Steve G. We need to look at all this stuff because that, guys, I remember from TikTok when I would put shit out that was against anything that was in the media already. They came for your ass hard. No holds barred. Profiles reported, threats, all of this stuff. I hope that this makes sense with what I'm going to say. Is everyone says what do you think you're smarter than the FBI? Oh, let the professionals do it. I'm like, yeah, we're going to. So therefore, I'm not a professional. Therefore, I don't have to abide by this. I would like to fact check it before I put anything out. Hell no. I'm doing this stream because I think it's fun. I like it. I enjoy thinking. I like bouncing theories off of stuff. You're right. Let's let the professionals do all the fact checking. I'm going to dive into anything and everything that I want to and have an opinion on everything and anything that I want to and theorize and probably string shit together that might not make any sense, but at least I did it. And then talking through it, it's like, well, that's, we can count that out, or, oh, wow, there's credibility there. So it's like, yeah, we will let the professionals do all the boring, factually accrediting of it. It's not to say that I'm out here just going to spew complete bullshit. You guys have been in here when I've gone documents wise. I've corroborated shit that I've said. But for listening to stuff like this, I mean, I like just being in a free kind of flowing state of like, well, what about that? And the lock, well, that one's the only one with the keypad. And she hasn't really said anything about it. No, or maybe she's not lying. And I don't know. That's the way that my brain works. Cheers, everyone.